Games players can really make you unhappy. So here's a little video on what you can do if you find yourself confronted by a games player. Hope you enjoy it.
Game number 10 is a game called Only Joking. This is a particular game that I feel strongly about because it happened to me a while ago. I can still remember it really vividly, actually. What happens is that the games player takes up a controversial position. Like, for example, engineers have no idea of art or culture. And this happened to me. I'm an engineer originally, and I was in a conversation with some people, and we were talking about modern art, I think it was. And I said something, and he went, "Oh," he said, "that's typical of an engineer." He said, "Typical." So what do I say? Because either he wins and I just say nothing, or I have to somehow prove him wrong. And if I could somehow prove him wrong in that I do know about art or culture, well, you didn't think I really believed that, did you? I was only kidding around. Where's your sense of humour? So, you're a bit sensitive on that area, aren't you, Chris? So what do? Do I ignore it, or do I try to prove him wrong? So he's a persecutor. This is a persecutor game, Only Joking, but he'll turn to victim if he has to. And it can escalate from abstract to quite personal. So he may say, well, engineers have no idea of art or culture, but he may say, you've got no idea of art or culture because you're an engineer. And then there could be added irritators chucked in like, oh, you just don't get it, do you? And in fact, what happened with the conversation I was in, this is a true story. He went, oh, typical of an engineer. And I thought, I'm not going to rise to the bait. And then later on, the conversation was carrying on. And I think we were talking about teachers. And one of the people there was saying, oh, it's so unfair because, teachers are devalued nowadays. She was a teacher, and she was saying, they've dumbed down the teaching profession. Teachers don't have to have a degree anymore. And I said, I didn't realise that teachers had to have a degree. I thought it was a teaching diploma. And the games playing guy said, oh, this man knows nothing. And that's definitely persecuting, isn't it? But he's waiting for me to react so he can be the victim. And unfortunately, I did react. When he said, this man knows nothing, I decided to hit him. And I leapt out of my chair and I lunged across the room. As I went across the room towards him, a little tiny voice in my mind was saying, should you hit him? Should you take his glasses off and hit him? Should you just hit him? What if you hurt your fingers? What if he's done judo? And so the voice of reason did come back into my mind. And just before I got to him, I decided not to hit him, and I just shouted at him instead. But I was really enraged, actually, because all evening he'd be going, didn't you know that? And so I was really, really angry. And I just shouted, don't you ever say that to me again. I was completely just, Rah! And he was leaning back in his chair going, oh no, I was only kidding, Chris. No need to be like that. I was only kidding, like that. The question really is, who won? Who was the winner in this situation? Because I kind of dominated him and he cringed back in his chair. But I actually think he won. He managed to get me angry and he won. And by the way, I'm glad I didn't hit him. Because I think if I'd hit him, I would have won in animal terms, but he would have won really because he would have showed me to be aggressive and unreasonable. So I've been thinking about that, and I've been thinking about who won, and I think it was him. And of course, his game's really clever because if I don't do anything, he wins, because all evening, didn't you know that? Typical of engineer, you know nothing. So he wins if I do nothing, but he also wins if I react. What should I have said? And I'm going to come to solutions later, but just while we're on this one, what I should have said, I think I should have just remained calm, and I should have said, look, I know you're only kidding, just trying to have an interesting conversation, but I think that's quite an offensive remark, to say this man knows nothing. I'm not happy about that, and I want you to withdraw that comment and apologise. And he would have said, oh, well, you're a bit oversensitive, and I could have said, well, yeah, I know I am, but I want an apology. And he would have then gone, oh, all right then, sorry. And I could go, no, I want a proper apology. I want to hear it like you mean it. And then he would have gone, all right, sorry, Chris. Yeah, all right. So I was out of order. And then I've won. So I think I should have calmly asked him to apologise. So if you think about it in terms of aggressive and submissive and assertive, I was aggressive and I nearly hit him, and that wasn't the answer. I could have been completely submissive and just put up with it all evening, but I should have been assertive. And the assertive person just calmly says, I'm not happy with that, I want an apology. The assertive person says how they feel and what they want. I'm not happy with that, I think it was out of order, and I want you to withdraw that remark and apologise. That's what I should have done if only I'd been assertive. But it's interesting because every time I see him now, he goes, all right, Chris, you okay? Good, all right, good. And he still thinks I'm a bit crazy. But, and I sort of secretly like that. But nevertheless, I know what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have lost my temper. He kind of won, if only I'd been assertive. So that's a game called Only Joking. And again, do you sometimes play that game? Do you know anybody else who plays that game? And what are you going to do about it next time you encounter it?